Today we're going to talk about the location service and the user experience. So it's two topics in 30 minutes, so it's quite packed. But you can see a lot of, how you say it, a lot of your own things and own experience, as you can say. So if you look at location service, it's probably something that we use every day. Let's start with a question. Who is using location service in their personal and private life? I think, no, not everybody. You're not using it? No? Okay. But I'm using it a lot. So we use it for discover restaurants. So if I'm in an area and I need to find a restaurant, I just type in a restaurant and I get a location for a nice restaurant, or maybe based on my preferences. We use it to track devices. So you have those nice small devices when you lost your keys. I know we had in the past like a whistle once. You need to whistle and then beep, beep, beep. And where is it? But now we have a mobile device to track it, of course. Share your location, maybe with your friends, where you are at the moment. And also the nice thing becomes now, it's also a lot of automation. So when I go to work, I get a pop-up on the traffic jams, for example. So that is all automated. And most of us use it in their daily and personal lives. But when you talk about location and experience, Douglas also mentioned that in his presentation. You can do a lot with information, and the examples we just gave in our private lives are very nice when you are outside and using GPS. But when you're indoors, things change a little bit, because GPS indoors is not really that accurate, especially it doesn't know which floor you're on, and the triangulation is not that accurate. So you need a lot of technology to provide indoor location. And with location and experiences, you can do a lot of things. So the examples that those already gave about digital workplace, and where can I find the nearest workplace, which one is available, or which meeting room is in that place available to me, or schools, Thomas mentioned, for attendance. So you need to know who is inside the classroom. So it provides a location of a person. The stores, if I enter a store, it can track me, for example, if I have interest in shoes or sports shoes, he knows that I'm there, he knows my interest, and instantly he can say, okay, Guido, I know you like sporting shoes, and you get a 20% discount off. Or if I look up on the internet and want to find sports shoes, we also use digital shelf labels, integration. So as soon as I walk into the store, the digital shelf label will start flashing, because that's the exact item that I'm willing to find and use. But all the experience that we are having and using, like I said, the main thing is location. And the location enables relevant and timely experiences for business life, but also in our personal lives. And that's the main thing that we're going to talk about. How can you see those? How can you see yourself? What can you do with the data? And how can you help other lines of business with the data inside of your organization? When we talk about, and those also mentioned that digital transformation, it doesn't start in the data center somewhere. It starts with the people and the processes and the places. That's where digital transformation starts. An IT manager will not go to maybe in the first phase, the facility manager says, hey, I got a nice tool for you to optimize your real estate. It's the other way around. The real estate wants to optimize their square meters, and they need data to do that. They need insights and intelligence. And I think the coolest thing in networking now, and then I get very exciting, because in the past it was like a switch or AP, and we all talk about data. But now the edge is like a huge database. And that database can give you a lot of information to help the other lines of business. And then my conversations are not only about, hey, how many clients can an access point use, or what's the throughput of this specific switch. Now you are in conversations with helping IT or helping the network operators to facilitate the lines of business, to facilitate the business itself. And then the network becomes, like I said, one big database, because I know the users, I know the location of those users, I know which applications they are using, where are they using it, which devices are connected, the places, all those things are in the edge. That's where all the data is. And then again, you can have those conversations with the other lines of business, and it makes it different because you're not only managing your IT infrastructure, you're not a cost center only, because also in the past you need to place a network, and okay, what's the cost of a network? Now you can say, okay, it's not only the cost of the network, but what value can it bring towards your business? How many of you have those conversations internally from a networking perspective? Do you have those conversations, or do you have those conversations with your customers? How can the network facilitate your business? Yeah? Does that go well? It's a little bit...
It depends. It all depends on how mature the customer is.
Yeah.
Or very often the customer is mature enough to actually have an intelligent conversation on where we can provide them with additional value, where we can leverage services that we can provide to assist them in their business.
Yeah.
At other points, they don't
Yeah.
get.
And it's also, like I said, it depends who you talk to. So if you talk to network operators, they like I said, they will not figure out, okay, I need a tracking system to determine where the goods are. And those questions come from other departments. And again, as a networking or as an IT, you have that huge database that resides in the edge with all the applications, all the information. You just need to have those conversations with the other lines of business. Okay, what kind of information do you need? What would you like to achieve in the future? What data do you need? And then you can, again, you have all the data in the edge resigned. Looking at how you get that data out of your edge, out of your network, what you see is that there are a lot of different tools and different technologies, especially also when you talk about IoT or Internet of Things. A lot of short range or indoor location or navigation, those kind of things. There are three main topics or three main technologies that we can use. So Wi-Fi is one of them. The other one is Bluetooth Low Energy and Zigbee. So those, I think, you cover around 60-70% of use cases that you can provide towards internally. And that is only growing. Well, this is an older graphic, because now what you also will see mainly from outdoors and IoT is also 5G. That will be a key role in that area. But again, that merging from inside and outside, those technologies will not replace each other, but they will enforce each other, more or less. So a lot of things are, like I said, BLE, Wi-Fi, and Zigbee are the dominant technologies used for connecting different technologies and different devices. So if you see what we are doing, it's not that we are, it's not only about Wi-Fi, it's about how to build a connectivity platform to build multiple use cases inside of your organization. So Wi-Fi is one, and then you have different use cases. So you can do asset tracking, for example, or barcode scanners for connectivity, but also look at other technologies like Zigbee. So putting a Wi-Fi sensor could be more costly and more power consuming to put it, for example, in hospitality for door locker systems. So they use lower types of energy, so that's the Zigbee protocol that they're using, but it needs to be connected somewhere. And what you don't want is to have multiple technologies or multiple infrastructures to support multiple use cases, because then the integration becomes a nightmare. How do you secure it? For example, if you need to place for the door lockers a specific network for Zigbee receivers, you need to cable it, you need to mount it, you need to manage it, you need to secure it, all those things, type of different things. BLE, Wi-Fi we can do, for example, asset tracking. We can also do asset tracking with BLE, but for example, indoor navigation is not very accurate when you do it through Wi-Fi. So that's where you use a BLE protocol for the indoor wayfinding with the Bluetooth navigation. And we also support USB. So to connect the other devices, like, for example, digital shelf labels, which we can connect. So we have an agreement with CES Imagotech. So instead of putting a complete separate infrastructure to support all the digital shelves in the shop, we use the platform. And then it becomes a different conversation also, because it's not only I need a Wi-Fi infrastructure, no, I need a connectivity platform to support my other lines of business. I have my Edge database with all that information, and we have multiple ways and multiple use cases which fits best with different technologies. To give you an example, we had a hospital, and they were requesting Wi-Fi. So it was a tender, we need to have Wi-Fi. Okay, connectivity, we reported that, we won the business, and they had a very good Aruba Wi-Fi infrastructure. Then the infrastructure was there, and then there was an innovation team. Let's innovate something. Oh yeah, it's cool. What are we going to do? Yeah, we're going to do wayfinding and asset tracking. Oh, you see Aruba, you have that. Yeah, we have that with the BLE radios inside. But they didn't have that because they were only focusing on the connectivity through Wi-Fi. And they didn't invest in the radios with BLE, but they invested in radios without BLE. So I said, yeah, we can do that, of course, but then you need to swap your 1,000 APs. Yeah, but it's only there for a year. Then you need to wait 4 years to go for the innovation. But if they had, for example, paid $20 more, or have talked with their other lines of business, okay, we're going to replace the infrastructure, what information do you need? Then they probably heard that another department is interested in finding those assets and having that through different technologies. Yes, you can do it through Wi-Fi, but putting a Wi-Fi tag maybe, for example, in a wheelchair, BLE is a lot more cost effective. And also the integration with Wayfinding, because I know where a wheelchair is, where the wheelchair is, but how do I get there? Which is the nearest one, and that's where we use the BLE location. So it's really important to understand, again, what does your business need, and how you can support it with our connectivity platform and infrastructure. And what you see is a lot of use cases. And I also see gunshot detectors. Don't know, yeah. Probably really US driven, but you can connect almost everything through BLE, Zigbee, Wi-Fi, and the USB connectors. And that's how you build a connectivity platform. Agree on that? Makes sense what we are building in that area? Good. Because Forrester also thinks that we are going the right way. So they recently announced a report for Q3 and put us as the only vendor in the leaders quadrant. But not because we have very good infrastructure, Wi-Fi, with good management tools, good security, all those kind of things, but it was mainly because we are heavily investing in tools like location service. We are going beyond just the Wi-Fi connectivity and build, like I said, the connectivity platform also for other use cases, and especially also the IoT use cases that also needs to be connected. And that's why we are placed as the only vendor in the leaders quadrant. So that's a good support from an analyst firm that confirms that our strategy is in the right way. And that's also what our customers are saying, that with your platform we can do a lot more things. So what kind of location service do we have? What is the portfolios? Like I said, we have multiple things, multiple use cases. Here is what you have is the infrastructure, and then you have, of course, need to have tools to enable that, to get that data out of there. So one thing to get data out of a person or a location is you need to know who that person is. So that's where we have guest access. So if a visitor enters, he connects to the guest access, you know which person or visitor that is in that area. But also with the captive portal, if you want to promote, for example, a mobile application from your venue for like the wayfinding or in a shop, you can also say, okay, go to this captive portal, download the application, install it, and you get a lot more features and functionality. That's what the ClearPass guest access and the portal provides. The other end is Wi-Fi Analytics. So yes, we still, of course, use Wi-Fi Analytics for example, space utilization. Like I said, facilities. They love this story. IT, well, it's not the first interest to have good analytics to save cost on the facility department. But from management, and I know we had that discussion Thomas in the past, from a management or CFO point of view, it's like, okay, if you can save me 20% on space, divided by 400 buildings, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of equipment that you can put in there. So analyze space with Wi-Fi, so understand how many people are here. Is this room utilized in the right way? Well, I see a full room, so that's very good. If it was maybe half room, we could have rent only half of the space and have the room completely occupied. The other thing what we are doing is like asset tracking, especially very high interest when it comes to healthcare, because it's multiple ways. So it's what you sometimes hear that personnel can't find equipment. So what they're going to do is they're going to store it in their own closet or under their stairways. Where you go to a hospital, you walk by it, you see stairs, and then you see some equipment standing around. That's they harvest it like those hamsters. They harvest all the equipment. But also a lot of equipment gets stolen. So maybe a nice example, Dutch. It's always related. People say, yeah, Amsterdam. Oh yeah, weed and drugs. Yeah, yeah. So what you see is those infuse pumps get stolen. And the reason why those infuse pumps get stolen is because to grow the plants, they need water. But what they don't want, of course, is go to every plant and water them. So they use infuse pumps so they can automate the process giving the plants water. So that's why the infuse pumps get stolen, and then they will be installed, and they automatically water the plants. So in that business, as you can say, there's also IoT in there and automation. So they're using that. When they don't buy the infuse pump, they get it out of the hospital. But from a purchase perspective, they need to repurchase every time. It's lost equipment, it's stolen equipment, it's the time that people are searching for it. So it's a lot of lost revenue. So if you know which devices are nearby, if the devices are returned, for example, so you can geofence areas if the stuff is brought back, so maybe you don't have to charge the department anymore. And you need to have less purchase of medical equipment. And again, medical equipment, infuse pump, maybe $5,000 or $10,000. A tech, $20. So yeah, it's a nice business case, as you can say. The technology what we use there is ALE, Analytics and Location Engine, to understand what the location is. And also for presence, we use Central, and I'll come back to that later, so I can explain the bits and pieces. What you also see is that on asset tracking, we cover half, and so we can do asset tracking through Wi-Fi Analytics, but also we can do asset tracking through Bluetooth Low Energy. And that's where we use our Meridian Platform for. But also the Meridian Platform is used for improved experiences, as you can say, for wayfinding. So if there's a desk available, what is the nearest desk which is available? So we had it's also a nice example from the Netherlands. It was a municipality. They had multiple areas and they all put it in one big building. But what I found out is that people entered the building, especially on Monday or Tuesday, the whole building is full, 10 stores, and people, let's go flex working. Yeah, you don't have a fixed desk, you can work everywhere. So the people entered, come on the first floor, it's full. Second floor, it's full. So what they heard is it took an average of 10 minutes finding a desk. But now with location and wayfinding and the available space that they have, they could easily navigate to the right way, saving maybe 8-9 minutes times 1,000 people. So again, that's a lot of advantage that they get from a productivity loss, but also look at the people. They can easily book their desk and they can easily be navigated to the right desk or to the right meeting room. Or if you have a large venue, that's some things you can do. And the last part for mobile engagement is how to engage with customers. Last like I said, I gave you the example with proximity. If I know where I am and I have the mobile application running, I can engage with it. So and I can set, for example, close by proximity or further away, and I can do that, for example, again with classroom attendance. I can do that with specific promotions. We can even use it for, that's also what we did during events. When usually with events you see people scanning if somebody joins that specific session or not. But most people have a mobile phone to understand where those sessions are. And we can also automate the process. So when people walked in, they automatically registered for that session, and then walk out, they get a notification or push notification that say, okay, can you rate this session instantly? So that's how you can get the interaction with where we use mobile engagement. So analytics and location engine. So if you want to know X, Y, Z coordinates from the network, that's where we use AIL. So AIL is like an API platform that harvests the data out of the network, the Wi-Fi data, and then brings it towards another application. And that application can be, for example, Skyfi, what is used, or any other application that can make sense out of the data. Again, we can give the data, but again, I'm not a, let's say, a facility specialist. So there are other companies that understand what to do with the data. And again, we provide the data from the infrastructure. And ALE can provide the data, so know who you are, or anomalize data. So for example, we use, in big areas, we don't know who that person exactly is, but we know that there are that many devices in a room, so we know, so we can measure how many people are there, for example. That's where we use AIL, and AIL is work for the controllers or for our instant access point solutions. So that's for the Wi-Fi. The other solution that we have for Wi-Fi Analytics is something that we deliver from our cloud platform, so Aruba Central. And they have a module, there's a module in there that's called Presence Analytics. And what it does is you can set different RSI feeds, so we can see how many people, for example, in the store are passing by. So we just see people passing by. If they are entering, they are in a closer proximity in that store, so we know how many people are entering that store. And we can say, okay, if this device stays here for 2 minutes, or 3 minutes, or 5 minutes, we know that we are engaged with that specific person. And then we provide a dashboard that is all consumed from the cloud that can compare all those different stores. And for example, the top 5, is it a new customer, is it a customer that already was there, for example, and you can compare the metrics. If you don't want to use the dashboard that is provided, we also provide APIs. So all the information inside is also provided to an API, so you can send it to a third-party analytics engine to give that data and to understand. And with the data, it's really easy to set up. Again, it's a cloud-based, you consume it from the cloud, and instantly you can see, okay, if I put a big 50% discount promotion in there, do I attract more people? And again, you see a lot more people coming in. So probably that big sign, 50% discount in between, or happy hour, you see more people coming in. And that's where that's what you can do with the data. You can compare that, okay, it works in this shop, but the other 50 shops didn't work. And you can compare it with your data of your sales, for example. Did more people come in, but did we also got more revenue out of it? So again, a lot of relevant data, and not maybe for IT, but think about marketing. For marketing, it's very important. Do we have the right marketing, but also for the store owners, and make the comparison. The other side is the Aruba Meridian Platform. So if we have that data out of there, what can we do with the data? So you need to, it's nice that you have a map on your phone, but how do you build that map? So we have a complete cloud-based solution to provide maps, to provide proximity, to manage your infrastructure with your BLEs, etc. And we have 2 solutions in there. So one side is the asset tracking solution. So we provide, for example, a mobile application, or we use Aruba Meridian as the SDK platform, where we can give the information to a third-party developer and builds their own application. So one is called white label application. That's from ourselves. I built an app myself. So if I can do it, then probably anybody can do it, as I'm not that technical. And the other side is the third party. We also use a web application, because what you saw in hospitals is that they don't only want to use a mobile application, but they also have maybe a computer on wheels with a PC or a laptop on it, and they want to have a web interface to see the assets and where they are at the moment. We use small tags, so it's the Aruba tags. It's 4 years or 5 years battery life. You can place it or mount it on a wheelchair or diffuse pump or whatever you would like to grab. And the APs are the sensors. So based on the distance, triangulation, we know in, let's let's say 4 or 5 meters where that exact item is. And then of course you can display it on the map, and you can do the navigation with the other side, which is the indoor navigation. Again, we use BLE to do that. So one for the proximity and the other one for the blue dot navigation throughout the venue. Again, a white label app to provide that, or working with app developers that build the app but uses the Meridian platform as the back end to provide all that information. So basically that's the Meridian infrastructure and platform. So to summarize it, yes, we provide a huge database. Location is very important for the digital experience and transformations. Have conversation with other lines of business. What kind of information do they need? How can you help them with the information that you have? And we go beyond Wi-Fi, so that's BLE, Zigbee, and the USB integration, and use Meridian Engage partners. So there are a lot of, so we have a lot of third-party app developers, integration partners to do that. I don't know why I'm with the time now. Yeah, I have an hour, so I can short it. And yeah. So going to the user experience, so it's a bit difficult. So one side is the location engine, the other side is the experience. It's a bit both. So how can we create the best experience? One side with the location service, and the other side now from a network perspective. So let me tell you my experience in holiday. So I went to Zakynthos, a Greek island, on holiday. And this was my view, hotel, nice apartment. And you see a little tiny thing over there, so I use an arrow to zoom it. That was the Wi-Fi for the whole complex. Yes. So I did a speed test, and it's not that bad, but it was the best that I could get. If you see the upload, not that good. So we were not a very happy family, especially my kids. Yeah, they want to have a good experience and a good Wi-Fi experience, of course. So yeah, it was not the best experience. But looking at it from an analyzer, it was not that bad, looking at the Wi-Fi signal. But what my kids will say, the Wi-Fi sucks. That's what they will say. The Wi-Fi is bad. But looking at the Wi-Fi, there's not much interference. The signal is okay, but the experience was really bad, and this was for one occasion. So imagine if my son, for example, goes to reception, your Wi-Fi sucks. She goes to the IT department, hey, we have bad Wi-Fi here. But it was not really the Wi-Fi that was bad, it could be a lot of other things. So yes, from a network perspective, it looks not that bad, but from a user experience, it was really bad. So if you look at the networks or the infrastructure, basically we look at that part. So is the infrastructure functioning normally? Is everything working? Yeah, well, we have Wi-Fi, we have a good signal, no interference, all thumbs up. We also see what's connected and what are they using on the network. Nothing more, that's also what you can get out of the network management systems. But again, if you look at the whole view, so that was from the networking part, but how is really the experience end to end? As you see that we are moving more to cloud, how can we really build that edge to cloud experience? As a lot of applications reside in the cloud. And that's exactly what the sensor does. So it operates as a client and looks at the whole experience throughout the network. Not only on the network itself, but also beyond, so looking at the SaaS applications. And that's how you can understand if that user experience is caused by bad experience on the network, or are there other things that's causing that bad experience. And I know that Thomas already mentioned it, so, but my Danish is not that good, so going to the user experience for the non-Danish people, I will translate it in English now. But the user experience inside, it's built on two things. So one is the sensor, which is really simple to deploy. You place a sensor in a certain area that you want to review. You want to know what the experience is in that case. And on the other side, we have a cloud platform that provides a dashboard with all the information. It's like having a person on site testing 24/7 all the applications in that certain area. The dashboard is quite simple, so performance is okay, you get a smiley, and if the performance is not okay, you get a sad face. But also we had a lot of sometimes discussion with customers said, oh, it's all okay, I don't need it. Yes, but this is also your baseline. And how you can also now say towards the management or to the application department, say everything that we do is okay, so we confirm to the service level agreements, or we confirm to, and we also check maybe the internet service provider that delivers some SaaS applications to understand if they confirm to their right SLAs. And if I change something, if this is okay, there is some change on the network, I know the baseline when it was okay, and I know if I change something, where does it go wrong, and I need to baseline. But then that's, if there's an issue, you get a sad face, and then it provides you, okay, what that issue could be on the other end. So fast remote troubleshooting for Wi-Fi and Ethernet, so you get a holistic view. And again, you can see the whole chain of that specific client all the way to the right applications. What does he touch? He touches the Wi-Fi, DNS, DHCP, all those kind of things. You can exactly see, okay, where does the problem occur? And there you get some more information on that specific side. So 3 points I want to give with you. Yeah, operation assurance. So assure that the network and the user experience is in the right way. It's simple. It's really easy and simple to set up. Place the sensor. You can place it on any network, so it's vendor agnostic. So if you SIP network or anything else, you can use those sensors to deploy. Easy to scale, so you don't have to place it on your whole infrastructure. Maybe start with exam rooms in education, or operating rooms in a hospital, or if you're in a hospitality, maybe not place the sensors to the whole hotel, but maybe only the conference room that you're renting towards other companies, so that you can ensure that the experience that you're delivering is in the right way. And then you can easily scale out and place more sensors, more locations, etc. And be more proactive. So know what's wrong on your network, be more proactive towards a business or towards companies that provide a service towards you, and make it a little bit easier for IT to understand what is good and what is bad.